Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Somewhere between science and superstition.
We have such sights to show you.
Strange Eons. Welcome to a very special episode of Strange Eons Radio, a short Eons episode. And when you see what we're up to tonight, you're going to see why it is just Eric Morgard over there.
Hello.
And our good buddy, Steve J. Holetz from the Bone Bat Show over there at his. I'm Kelly Young. And so, Steve, we did this kind of spur of the moment because you've been posting while everyone's in quarantine all these amazing drinks to make. And I thought, well, we got to do an episode like this because everybody should know this this goodness that you're sharing with the world. And you are going to make us a drink tonight.
I am. The drink that you guys chose is the Suffering Bastard. It is fun to say. It's fun to drink. We're going to make one up right now. So the Suffering Bastard was invented.
Hold on. Before you start,
okay.
I'll be your student tonight.
Okay.
So as you're going through, instruct me, and I will show you the totally useless alcohols I have to make this. I would highly recommend that anybody watching this only make what Steve's making.
Quick preamble, the Suffering Bastard was invented back in 1940 by a famous bartender named Joe Shalom at the Long Bar of the Shepherd's Hotel in Cairo, Egypt. And it was originally intended to be a hangover cure because the booze there was so bad that it kept giving people headaches. And so it was a very popular drink at the Long Bar until the entire hotel burned down in 1952. But at that point, GIs from all over the world had taken the drink home with them, and it became famous around the world. So it's not a brand new drink. It's a classic, and I'm glad to make it for you tonight.
Steve, did you make all of that up?
I did not. That's
okay.
You can find that information in Potions of the Caribbean by Beach Bum Berry.
Okay, what do we start with? Or what are you starting with?
So first thing we're going to do is the Suffering Bastard is made with two liquors, gin, of course, and also brandy. So you can pretty much use any type of gin or brandy that you have around. In this case, we used Beefeater gin, I think, for you guys, as well as Christian Brothers brandy. Now, you use an ounce of each of those to make a Suffering Bastard. Now, if you want to mix it up, you can actually cut back to a half ounce. And if you do whiskey, gin, and brandy, as Brian Johnson says in AC/DC, whiskey, gin, and brandy with a glass and pretty handy. Have a drink on me. It's the recipe's right there. That is a dying bastard. So a half ounce each of whiskey, gin, and brandy. If you want to make a dead bastard, half ounce each of whiskey, gin, brandy, and rum, white rum.
Oh.
In this case, we're just going to make straight up Suffering Bastard. So 1 ounce.
All right, so here's my substitute for the gin.
Okay.
Kraken rum.
What?
I told you, this is not good.
Certainly on brand.
Yes, it's on brand in my good old Planet Hollywood measuring tool.
In that case, I'm going to mix it up too. I'm going to use Big Gin from Seattle.
Oh, nice.
This is their bourbon barrel gin, so something a little fancier.
And
add that to your mixing glass.
And for the second, really, my bar was so much more pathetic than I thought. Or our bar here was so much more pathetic than I thought. So the second beer I will be using, or the second alcohol I'll be using is Kauai rum. It's a light rum. So it's dark rum, light rum.
Okay, well, Eric's pouring for my brandy replacement. I'm going to use Pierre Ferrand cognac, 1840 cognac, 1 ounce of that. So 1 ounce of gin, 1 ounce of brandy.
I'm a big fan of brandy.
You aren't?
I know you are.
Oh, you are? Okay. All right. Then the third ingredient that we're going to use is lime cordial. So the original cordial that is mentioned is, of course, the classic Rose's lime juice, which you can find at any grocery store just about. It's easy to come across. Also, there are other things on the market. This is Nellie and Joe's Key West lime juice, which is also a sweetened lime juice. And then B.G. Reynolds lime cordial, which is out of this world. So I'm going to use a little of that tonight. We'll want a half ounce of our lime cordial.
I will be using limoncello.
Okay.
It's the closest I could come to any kind of a citrusy ingredient.
Now, if you are at home and you don't have any of these things, what you can do in a pinch is use about 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, and then you could mix in either simple syrup, if you have that, like a half ounce, or even some turbinado sugar. Mix it like a teaspoon of that in there until it's kind of a syrupy consistency. Use that to make a drink. All right, so we've got our lime cordial, we've got our gin, we've got our brandy. Then, of course, bitters. You cannot make the Suffering Bastard without bitters, and I had some here a second ago. Here we go. That's the classic. Again, you can get that anywhere. I'm going to use, since I'm sporting the Devil's Reef Fez tonight, I'm going to use Devil's Reef's own Bitter Cube bitters.
Oh, cool.
Put in 2 dashes of that stuff in your mixing glass, maybe 3.
And I just used a random alcohol I could find that wouldn't add any flavor because I have no bitters for some goddamn reason. So a little bit of vodka.
All right. So then we're going to take our glass of liquor, mix it in with some ice, shake it up. Here we can fix it.
All right, mine's much smaller than yours.
I think the camera's listening.
Yeah. You get some action when you shake.
Thanks, baby.
Yeah.
And we're going to top it off with about 4 ounces of your ginger beer of choice.
And since I used all your wonderful ginger beer on the Suffering Bastard, I will be using Maui Brewing Company's Pineapple Mana Wheat Beer.
Oh, my God.
Which I'm going to tell you has absolutely no pineapple flavor. It's just a regular beer. I don't know why it's called that.
Get yourself perhaps a swizzle or a spoon and just mix up the ginger beer a little bit so it incorporates the fizzy flavor into the rest of the drink. And there you are. You're ready to go with a Suffering Bastard.
Nice.
Now,
Cheers, folks.
we were able to meet you at a 6-foot distance, and you had pre-made us a couple of drinks as well. And so while Eric has made what I think should be called a stupid bastard,
You're generous. You're very
I am
generous.
actually drinking one that you have made. I'm going to take my first sip of it right now.
Your patience is laudable.
Oh, that is downright refreshing.
Oh, thank you.
That is delicious. Not my first sip of alcohol today, Steve, just of the alcohol you made. That is fantastic. Now, Eric, how is yours?
Let's find out.
I don't want to see any weenie sips either.
My wife has told me she has put 911 into her phone and is ready to hit dial as needed. Hey, you know what?
No, you're such a liar.
Oh, shit.
He's like, this is better than the Suffering Bastard.
No, it's not that. The problem I would say with what this is if it, instead of beer, if it had the ginger, it probably would have been just fine.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's got pineapple, lemon, and 2 kinds of rum in it. I don't think you can go terribly wrong with that.
now this is your drink. That's much better.
Steve,
thank you for the kind words.
this is wonderful. I'm actually drinking mine out of our buddy Dagon'S Devereaux's
Devereaux.
creepy tiki glasses, which are available on his Etsy site. Steve, plug what you're up to lately, because this quarantine has hit you it's hit all of us in the fact that Crypticon has been pushed way back, but you had something that was supposed to happen just last weekend.
Yeah, that's right. On April 11th, we were supposed to be hosting the 10th Bonebat Comedy of Horrors Film Fest. And it hit us hard. I mean, we start working on that back in September or October, and we've been watching movies, and we had a Kickstarter with a lot of people bought tickets and swag to the event in advance. Yeah, it's a bummer, but SIF ended up closing all three of their theaters, and they furloughed all their employees. So there's, given the quarantine, there's not much that can be done about it at this point. I mean, we're gonna try to reschedule as soon as the quarantine is lifted and SIF opens up again. So watch for news for that. But in the meantime, we did want to give something back to both our audience for all the support, and maybe add a little joy to the world as well. So on April 25th, Saturday at 6 p.m., for the first time, we're going to host a online Best of Bonebat Comedy of Horrors Film Fest. So this is going to be shorts that we've previously screened over the last 9 years. A bunch of our favorites, bunch of the audience favorites. Many of these have won awards at our fest. And we're going to mix them up and screen them for you in the privacy of your own home. We picked 30 out of, we show 40 a year, right? So we're not even showing a full year's worth of shorts. So there's so many shorts that could have easily made the cut. By making our film festival, they made the cut.
Sure.
But this was 30 that Gordon and I could agree on, and we argued about it back and forth. Like, no, not that one. It's got to be this one. But we ultimately came to an agreement. We reached out to the filmmakers, and they were glad to support as well. In many cases, they were super happy to get another screening, and it's going to be fun to put together. So I hope you guys can make it and watch us be silly on the internet and show you literally the best of independent horror comedy shorts the world has to offer.
Where can people find out more about this?
You can find out more at bonebat.com. There's also an event page on Facebook. We are still ironing out the details on how the stream's going to work. So the link isn't up yet, but I expect it'll be up by the end of the week.
Oh, fantastic. And longtime listeners of our podcast will know that Eric is constantly name-checking Bonebat because it's his favorite film festival of the year.
True.
Oh, thank you.
Very true. I think we know one you are showing, though.
You know a bunch. You've screened. Oh, yes, of course. We haven't announced what is in the fest.
Never mind.
The package is totally screaming. So,
are you saying that people are going to be able to see Eric's package?
And yours.
Online?
Eric's package. And hear the sonorous tones of one Kelly.
Steve, thank you so much for this. What a blast.
My pleasure.
How about we do this semi-regularly?
Yeah, we can definitely do it again. We're going to be quarantined for a while, so let's make it happen. It
certainly seems like that. Okay, so I don't know if we're going to do this regularly or if we're just going to kind of like surprise our listeners with an extra episode every once in a while. But I think this has been a blast, and I really appreciate you doing this for us, Steve.
That was my pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. Great to see you guys.
Cheers, everybody. Be safe and be well.
Thank you. Goodbye. Our podcast is recorded at Eric's house, and Vanessa's house, and Kelly's house, and is engineered and edited by Eric Morgret. Our theme music is Strange Eons Part 1 by the band Nightshade, and is used with permission. Find Strange Eons Radio on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and wherever fine podcasts are found.